What's happening, sports fans? We continue our coverage of high school sports in the era of everybody just sitting around at home and missing high school sports. And Christian Evans, our next top recruit, is the exact same as everybody else. He's just in that kind of netherworld of hoping he gets another chance to suit up. He is a lacrosse player at Cathedral Catholic, committed to go play at Denver University, the one-time national champions, the furthest West Coast team to represent on that kind of a level. So this is a very big deal in the lacrosse community. Thank you so much for being on, my man. Hope all is well. Let's talk about that decision to go to Denver. What was that choice for you?
Yeah, so I'd been getting recruited by Denver for about a year, because end of my 8th grade year, going into becoming a freshman, I was going to recruiting events all over the East Coast. I knew a few of my coaches on my club teams have connections with the Denver coaches, of course, and they caught wind that like the coaches were looking at me. They were kind of interested. They were happy with my play. You know, they wanted to see me come out to the campus and do a recruiting camp there. And so it's kind of like a prospect day. And so I went out there the beginning of my freshman year. I went out to the prospect camp and had 2 really good days out there, kind of toured campus with Coach Matt Brown, who's the assistant coach at Denver, and just really fell in love with the campus for that first time that I was there. And about a week later, I got offered by Coach Tierney, and kind of gave it 2-3 days, talk about it with my family, see the options with possibly other schools or anything. But ever since I was in about 5th grade, I knew that I wanted to go to Denver. I knew right away when Coach called me, I knew I was going to commit. But took a few days, called him back actually on my birthday, and committed.
Oh, there you go, man. That's the move. That's the flex right there. Is wait till
it was a big birthday present for sure. It's probably the best one I've gotten for sure. And
definitely the best birthday present you can give yourself is the gift of all your hard work paying off.
Definitely, yeah. It took some years, but definitely paid off.
So it's a long process, and like you mentioned, East Coast visits to go to recruiting trips are big for you. Maybe for people that don't have the financial ability to go on all of those trips and all those visits for camps and stuff, what might be some other tips, though, that you would give in terms of how you can be your own best friend and advocate on the recruiting process?
Definitely, yeah. Making a highlight reel was huge, honestly. I mean, you see a bunch of kids make highlight reels just for like the hype, but coaches actually look at those. Coaches look at the websites, or I can't remember the name of the website, but it's where it's you sign up, you pay maybe $50, and you could upload your highlight reel there, and almost every coach in college is on that website, and they'll go through, see who's on which clubs. And that's one of the biggest, was definitely the highlight reels. But then also there's so many club teams on the West Coast now, especially in California, that are competing with the top programs in the nation. And so California lacrosse and West Coast lacrosse is
it's on the rise right now. It's definitely on the rise right now. I graduated high school in 2009, about the 10th year of it actually even just being a CIF sport. So in those years, it has gone from a kind of backup sport if you were a football player and you didn't have anything else to do, to now there are people like yourself that grow up playing it and are going to the major Division I programs nationally, but still I feel like lacrosse isn't universally known. So what's maybe some misconceptions or some stuff out there that you'd like people to know about lacrosse? Because it's a pretty amazing game.
Yeah. Gosh, that's a good question.
I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, so I'll go with mine. And I think it's just that no lead is ever safe. Like no lead is ever safe. You can see games where it's like 13-5 in the second quarter and you think it's over, but no, you're like, no. We need a couple of possessions. We win a couple of draws and we're good.
Definitely, yeah. Lacrosse is a game of runs for sure. Like you could, and it's also, I mean, being an athlete, especially like I don't know how to explain it. Like, for example, being a midi in lacrosse, like you got to be able to run. It's like being a midi in soccer. You gotta
No, I'd say it's a step above it. I say the athleticism is on par with sort of water polo players, where you have to be
Yep,
quick, but you also have to be physical. You have to have that finite balance of both skills.
definitely. Yeah. Luckily, I'm a D pole, so I get to hit the kids more. I don't get hit as much, so that's definitely an up right there.
I will say that like I mentioned, I was not a lacrosse player. I got a very late in life introduction to it, and immensely regret not getting the chance to play it. I can only imagine that my position would have been long stick midi, because that guy seems like he gets the chance to bother everybody and ruin a lot of offensive people's days.
No doubt. It's
So I'm sure as a
definitely.
D pole, you get that same sort of satisfaction.
Yep. Yeah, I'm a long stick midi, so I get to go have fun. Get to hit kids up at the top of the box. I get to play offense and defense. That's gotten huge, especially in the college game nowadays. They put in a whole shot clock in college lacrosse where it makes the game so much faster again. And so having a really good LSM who could, disrupt up top and then bring the ball down to help score himself or obviously dump it to the offense, it's huge.
When you score, though, you got to get way back and get that good shot off.
Oh
So
yeah, it's
it's a fun thing watching in real time as you see them gearing up to score, because the little short stick people, for those of you who don't know, can get that quick shot off and can kind of rocket it off and be sneaky. You can't be sneaky when you're taking a shot with that long stick.
Oh no, everyone knows you're about to shoot, and whenever you see a pole go over, you're like, you can tell by their body language if they're about to go to the goal.
Well, and the thing about lacrosse is that is when everybody then gets a chance to start swinging at it. So you get a bunch of sticks flying at your way, and that's where you get back into it. That's what you don't know about lacrosse, is it's fun and it's physical and it's this amazing sport. For all of that, though, I do like to ask all my lacrosse people that come on the show about whether or not you agree with my assertion that all lacrosse goalies are a little bit mentally unstable.
Oh, 100%.
Yes,
100%.
and the voting continues to be 100% on that. Your reasons why?
100%. Stepping in front of that ball, I mean, some of us could shoot high 90s, even hundreds, and you got to be a little crazy to step in front of that. I mean,
Well, and then they do it with this like weird flex of, oh, I'm not going to wear sweats. I'm just going to wear shorts, and I'm not even going to wear
yep.
pads. And you're like, what is that?
Oh no, if you wear pads in the high school level or and above, you're kind of a goon. You're not really.
But you're also, you're protecting yourself from 100-mile-an-hour projectile. Like catchers in baseball don't get any crap for wearing gear, and it's
That's true.
almost the exact same thing. That's where I feel like these people are all just a little bit insane.
100%.
And I'm glad that you keep that voting record on a perfect 100%. What have you been doing without lacrosse in your life though right now? What does downtime look like for you?
Oh gosh. I mean, obviously online schooling. It's actually gotten harder. School's gotten harder. A lot of teachers putting a lot more workload on us. Been watching a ton of Netflix, working out, trying to keep my cardio up with running, and then just spending time with my family for sure.
So what's on the Netflix queue? Any good advice? Any good shows or movies you've watched so
Yeah.
far?
Yep. So I got Peaky Blinders, Narcos, and then I'm about to start Tiger King tonight. I've only
Ooh.
heard good things about it.
You're gonna. Are you watching that one by yourself or with people that you can talk about it with?
I'll watch it with my family.
Okay, good, because that's something that you have to not watch on your own, so that you can have other people to turn to and be like, "Is that real? Did I really
I've
just see
heard
it?" It's outlandish. And then I look forward to a follow. Let's do a follow up podcast once you've watched. We'll do like a little before Tiger King, after Tiger King, and
Why not?
how life is never quite the same after you dip into that world of madness.
Yeah.
If you don't get the chance, and this is a worst case scenario thing, because we're all trying to put positive vibes out into the world right now, but if you don't get a chance to suit back up and play for Cathedral again, what do you think you're going to miss, or maybe what would be your message to your team, your fans, your community?
Yeah, definitely. Cherish like the times you have with for my teammates at least. Cherish the time on and off the field because the times when we're doing our 100-yard sprints, our gassers, our conditioning that no one wants to do. That's when you form like a brotherhood and just when you're in the locker room hanging out an hour before practice, hour before a game, like really cherish the little things and respect your coaches for sure, especially with our new coach Dave McCarthy. He's one of the best coaches I've ever played for, and I think sometimes people get overlooked. And he's such a guru in lacrosse, and he knows what he's talking about. So for my teammates, just pay attention and take everything in.
Like we said, we're trying to send positive vibes out there, but I want everyone to get a chance to at least be on the record with some of the wishes and sentiments out to their community. We have apparently now booked a follow-up podcast, so this will be thank you for so long, but not forever. We'll talk to you post-Tiger King in your life. Folks, there are a lot of high school seniors out there right now that need your positive thoughts because they're stuck in a netherworld if they don't know when the season comes back, when prom is going to happen, what's going to be graduation. So send them your well wishes. He's going to keep in at least a similar shade of red next year. So if you don't get to catch him in Cathedral Catholic red, you can catch him in Denver University red. On the follow-up podcast, we'll dive in deeper also into the different official names of the shades of red. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, man.